Yeah, I can hear you.
Alright. Okay, cool. I was just making sure.
The connection went out a little bit. So I didn't hear what you said.
Let's see. Amazing.
You can definitely cut this part out. They don't need to see me eating.
Just your videos frozen, can we?
What'd you say?
Sorry.
I didn't hear you. Said you said hit the key. Can you hear me?
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. All right. Technical difficulties. That's always fun. What's that? Starting.
Does that work?
I'll be constructed. Okay, I hear you and I see you.
You hear me and you see me. You rocking and rolling.
Rocking and rolling. I'm just blasting out a few messages. Let people know we're on the call.
I'm gonna send out my messages. Where's our peeps at?
Where do you live?
I live in Dallas.
Okay, well, I sent out my messages. We'll give everybody a few minutes and then we can just run the places.
Sounds like a plan. Double checking with a few more people. Run it.
Let's run it.
Let's see. Ready to rock and roll? I'd say we can definitely just knock it out the park. You're muted.
Okay, cool. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, let's go. You already know.
Let's get it.
We win the play, whether the crowds are small or big. We always give value because someone else can catch this.
Absolutely. Where are you tuning in from today?
I am in Doral, Miami, out west Miami. Had a culture day today. It was pretty fire. You know, did some hot yoga, got some sun in, and it was an amazing experience. it was a very intentional class. And then like at the end of the class, when we were on our last position, like she put these amazing, like cool and like lavender infused rags over our heads, like while we were like, you know, calming our bodies down, cooling down from the workout. It was great. It was an amazing experience. I got to learn more about, you know, people on my team, people around me. It's pretty fire.
Mm,
I appreciate moments like that because it's like we could be on a constant grind all the time, and it's like going, and doing stuff, and it's just like slow down, build connections, build relationships. Because everything else will be
yes.
here. The money will be here, the possessions will be here, but the connections, those connections are rare, and it's like the things I should be able to, you know, receive out of just being present. So it was pretty fire. It was pretty
That
fire.
sounds amazing. Sounds really, really like just the ability to have a space where you guys can have culture day and get to know each other outside of the context of business, outside of the I don't like to use the word grind, but out of the work mode, work mentality, um, is really special because those are the moments. Like I'm currently in the car with two other business partners, and like we're about to go down to Vancouver because a lot of plans changed and a lot of things. And so it's like having the ability to do what we do 24/7, 24/6, 24/6, take that day off, but 24/6 and still being able to enjoy life and enjoy experiences and make the most of moments is really special. And you can't get that anywhere else outside of entrepreneurship, outside of if you work a traditional job, it's just not possible. And the
That's
mentality
fire.
is different.
Wow.
It's like these moments matter just as much as the working moments, and the ability to build bonds and build friendships and is really powerful. See, Lance just dropped on. What's up, Lance?
Hey, welcome.
Welcome.
Yeah, that's powerful though.
It's
That's
really cool.
powerful. hmm That's awesome. So
What's
even with
good,
you,
y'all?
hey, no problem.
Hey, Lance.
But yeah, but even with what you said, like that's powerful because there's not too many places where, you know, building culture matters, building relationships matters, you know, some things are just numbers, and get this done, and then you fall in the mundane of doing the same thing, or even just, you know, not being grateful for what's going on. You know what I mean? In moments like these, like, and I was actually preparing a post that I was gonna post on Instagram, and then in the middle of the post, it says, you know, make sure the environment that you choose, the people that you choose, the career that you choose, whatever it is that you choose, they care. You know, they care about your development. They care about the training. They care, you know, how you grow in all aspects. You know, and there's
Yes.
nothing like experiencing that firsthand live with people. You know,
Right.
it's different. People that you don't know from a tennis court, but you have a common vision, you have a common goal, you have a thing that everyone's going after. And it's like, okay, let's all do it together. Let's all be there together. But in the process, this is what we're doing. This is how we're growing. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. The fact that you said that you touched on like personal development, like from a in all aspects, is really I think that's the key. I think that's the piece. Like we should want to be around people that want to level up every aspect of their life, whether it's the piece that they want to or don't want to. Like we should actively be surrounding ourselves with people that want to grow in all aspects and be willing to be uncomfortable in the majority of them, because it's not a comfortable state.
Yeah, I love that. And again, like you said, a lot of important words. Willing. You have to use your higher faculty. You have the dignity of choice. It's either you choose to do it or you choose not to do it. You know,
Yep.
everything goes to its fullest capacity, but humans, because we have the dignity of choice. So yeah, 100%. You're definitely right. And you can't really get that experience until you're in the environment to be. So
Right.
it's very powerful.
It's amazing. What are you learning this week so far? What has this week brought about from your understanding?
Um, Facing and going through adversity. I think
Mm,
everybody around me has been going through the adversity in some way, form, or shape, right?
yep.
It's like, okay, it may be the smallest thing, but it's still something that challenges you and that is building your characteristic,
Yeah.
character building. And it's like, all right, what do I do? And am I acting like the person I'm becoming? And
Mm,
what lesson am I getting in this? And I think everybody's been going through adversity. Even Nano has been talking about that, and he was reading something powerful to us, and it was saying exactly what I was just saying. We're always going around adversity, but we don't go through it. We don't lean
wow.
into it because it's painful,
Yeah,
especially if you have open wounds.
that's powerful. And I've watched this week a lot of people go through a lot of challenges and seeing them navigate it, like just from personal experience. Like we were supposed to be at a business event in Kelowna, Canada. We landed, 20 people flew in from all over the states, all over the country, and they get here. And the moment that they get here, the fires get worse and we get evacuated, and everybody's got to figure out a place to stay and figure out the logistics side of it. And watching community come together and watching people really step up and um, care for the people around them and go out of their way to make sure everybody's safe is something that, as much as it's a challenge and much as it is character building, it really was a beautiful representation of like the people that you really do want to be surrounded by. um, and just seeing it from physical, tangible, like personal experience this week, I was like, wow, like who you surround yourself with really does matter. Solution oriented people. If you aren't around solution oriented people, find some. Or you have to become solution oriented person to find more solution oriented people. But every single person everybody's going to go through challenges. Every single human is going to go through character building days, and the ability to stay calm in chaos and the ability to be rational is a skill set. Like we can learn this, we can actually really hone in, and you're only tested, you pass the test in the test. It's not like you can just like do the thing, like you pass the test in the test,
I
not
love that.
after the fact. Like you can't just say you're going to be good at character building moments. Like no, you have to pass the test in the test. And yeah, I was just really encouraged this week to see that, as much as everybody was disappointed and wanted to have these really cool connecting moments with their business and explode their business and these really really powerful connecting pieces, because that's why we build community, that's why we do this stuff. To see community come together in a different way, it's truly really really powerful. We never would have experienced that otherwise. um and so that was really eye-opening for me this week. But um, yeah,
Wow.
we do have a small call today, so like it's really powerful. Like Lance, I don't know if you've gotten through anything this week, or bless May Ray, like um, you're not alone in going through the things that you think, like your problems aren't special. Everybody goes through problems, but you're special. You can handle it. You can go through these things, and you've got a community to back you up behind and support you in that process.
Yeah, there was definitely some adversity this you know, I had no idea that Super Saturday was canceled. And because I'm not in
Oh,
the I am Miami chat, I had no idea. And then all of the leaders that are down here in my area were kind of busy. So we just didn't get sent out to like the last minute. And I had like 5 people going. We were like planning the weekend.
Yeah.
They were like going shopping to get nice clothes because some of these guys are, these guys don't really haven't been exposed to this type of community, this type of environment. Even their dress code wasn't ready for what we were going to be bringing. So they were getting prepared, and I had to tell them last minute it was canceled. It was definitely stressful, and
Yeah.
it was definitely adversity. But I talked to someone, and they were saying like, do your own thing. And then I remembered that, you guys do this. And so it's a good place to come to, on Saturday when there's kind of nothing going on. There's a nice little lull. Everything did work out though, when I got a haircut, went to a men's group this morning. I mean, life is still good. It's still great. The people didn't respond like I thought they would. They were just like, okay, cool. When's the next one? Next month. Okay, yeah, I'm still looking forward to it. So it's awesome.
Wow.
I love that.
That's
that.
really cool.
You said, Grace.
Yeah.
It's a big deal when
Okay.
What's it going to for me?
No, I was just gonna bring it back to what you said. Seeing community come together in a different way, seeing how your community responds in adversity, it gives you a different perspective, and also too, it goes back to like how you're thinking, because if you were like, oh, this wasn't gonna work out, like you said, they responded how you didn't think, because you guys are all on the same vibration, solution oriented. And it's like, okay, cool. Well, regardless, we know that value is value. When's the next one? There's no time to be hung up on what happened, what did happen, because all we have is now. All we have is now.
Yeah, it's really powerful.
Then I caught a fat trade just now on Strike Point Scalper. So, hey, life is good,
You're like, we're still good.
Yeah.
It's amazing, Lance.
Yeah, that is amazing. I wanted to touch on what you said as well. The same thing about the community, but I want to go back to because we're reading this book, the 17 Laws of Teamwork. And while you were saying that, I was recalling the chapter that's called The Bad Apple. And how it's like, okay, if you're not intentionally putting yourself in the right environment, around the right people, that are at least aiming to get their mind better or already there, when adversity comes, it's only going to take one person to shift the room. It's only going to take one person to shift the situation. But it's like when you're already in that environment, it's like, okay, cool. Everybody's self-aware. Everybody knows the adversity. All right, let's use this, to be grateful. Let's use this to be this way. Like everybody's already just transitioning to the next frequency for the situation. And they're doing it smoothly because there is no bad apples, because we're all conscious enough to be like, yo, okay, if I hang out with this person, they're gonna, distract me, they're gonna mess up my productivity, they're not gonna help me, they're not gonna support me, they're not gonna encourage me. So you guys all made that conscious decision, intentionally traveling out here to this event and, growing, and there's no time for that. And it's like, wow, the power of this environment, even when in adversity, you get to be grateful for certain things. Because now look how you start everybody in a different perspective. You've seen everybody going through adversity, and you guys did it together, and as well going through it individually. You know what I mean? And adversity, honestly, I feel like brings you either closer to the environment you have or further away.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. I kind of think that adversity is a natural response of the universe. It's a law that's in place, and it's actually for us. I don't know if you guys watch any of my content. Like, I'm like obsessed with the idea of the seed, and it just makes my brain go boom every time I see something, or like it correlates with, because it's like I've constantly been seeing it all the way around the board. And I talked about on my Facebook group, on my Facebook post, I've talked about how like the seed has to go through the pressure. like that plant, it goes into the ground and the soil, then the seed cracks, and then it has to like push out of that and then push through the soil, and then everything that's in the soil, it's got to like make its way around in order to get to the sunlight. And then, it's reaching up for the sun, but then you have all these, insects that are like everywhere, trying to destroy this plant from reaching its full potential, where it starts to bear fruit that has seed that can continue, so I don't know, it's just, for me, it's like a natural law of the universe, and it's like they say natural selection, where it's like you kind of have to go through it. And the people who maintain, the same frequency all the way through, and be intentional about maintaining that frequency and applying pressure back, and putting one foot before the other, are the people who end up on top at the end. We're going to survive the tough times, because even in when times are good, we're still in preparation, knowing that adversity is coming, so.
So
Yeah,
very
I
true.
love that.
Very true, Lance. The seed harvest, like the planting process, is one of the most beautiful explanations of life in general. Like just the analogy to be able to have the seed, protect the seed, have it grow, but it's got to go through all of this process. I mean, we can see that in our life, and we can see that in the way that we're operating in just a day-to-day experience. We're like, oh, it makes sense. This is just part of the process. And it allows people to get through that process. And if we can be around people that are like, hey, you're just in this part of the process, it makes it 10 times easier. It's so easy when somebody's like, hey, this is just part of it. Lance, this is just part of it. You got it. Like, I know where you're going. I know what's next, because if we don't go through that, then it dies. It doesn't actually get to form. And so not only are we protecting other people's dreams, we're protecting we're protecting our dreams, but we're protecting the seeds of other people and allowing them the time to actually grow.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
leadership. That's leadership right there in a nutshell.
Yeah, I love that, because I think there's a lot of places, communities, and things that are created in the space to grow. It's like it's not allowed. And it's like, why? You know what I mean? Like, we're constantly evolving and growing each and every single moment. Not day, not minute, every moment, great, even you just going through, this whole evacuation, the wildfire, like, your perspective is completely changing. You will not ever be the same person. But you got to see that firsthand, and then you got to see how everybody else reacted, like you were there, it's a ripple effect. Each experience is a ripple effect. And it's like, if you're intentionally experiencing what you need to experience, that is fruit for someone else. The same way your adversity is fruit for someone else. When you go through things, it's for someone else to survive, to, get through it. That's why it's, the fruit of the spirit. That's a real thing. It's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's why adversity, like you going through adversity, you going through what you need to, because you need to be not. And it's funny, because it's not because we're just being fruit just for other people. We're fruit for ourselves. Sometimes we're fruit for ourselves, because there are times where we find ourselves almost in that same place, or almost reacting instead of responding, almost choosing flesh instead of spirit. And then we look back, and then we see our garden, like, oh snap, look at all this fruit. This was from this time. Okay, like, it's a reminder. It's a reminder,
Yeah.
And for some people, it's a stepping stone.
So true.
For sure. It should be for everyone. Like I think of this verse, right? There's a verse biblically, I just really love the word. So there's a verse, and it says, count it all joy, my brothers and sisters, when you experience trials of many kind. Now that's completely contrary to like the normal opinion or perspective. Like, count it joy when you experience trials. Like, how am I supposed to sit here and enjoy this, right? The secret is that the second part where it says, knowing that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. So like if you truly desire perseverance, you truly desire patience, you truly desire to get to this level, you know, those qualities of that person that you want to become, then you're going to know that you need this, right? So that's leadership, is like just encouraging people and letting them know that like that's necessary. You know what I'm saying? Purpose in the pain, purpose in the struggle. There's a reason for it happening. It's not happening to you, it's happening for you, man. It's awesome.
Yes. That's fire. I love that. And it's very true. It is very true. And that's the thing, because like even with people hearing that, what you just said, they think that it's them that has to create the joy. It's like, no, you're not strong enough. You know what I'm saying? You're not selfless enough. Because there are times where you will not choose that. You will choose yourself and you will choose to mind your business.
Right.
You know, and it's like it's not you that creates that. It's God that gives you and enables you to be joyful. But the question is, are you willing? Are you willing? Are you willing to surrender? Are you willing to, you know, be completely vulnerable to the situation? Like, you know what? I'm not happy about this. I'm not grateful for this at this moment, but I'm going to choose to be. I'm going to choose for joy. I'm going to choose to look for the seed in the situation. And then you allow that, and that opens your heart. That's why gratitude is the source of where all things come from. Because the moment you're grateful, because you can't be grateful and then also to, you know, scared of your adversities at the same time. You can't be grateful and fearful. You can't be grateful and nervous. You can't be grateful and anxious. Like that is the highest vibration, you know, after authenticity, like gratitude and love and authenticity, the highest vibrations in the world. They don't have space and room for that, you know. But I love that verse, and I'm so glad that, you know, you said that. Like literally like gems. So beautiful.
Very good, Lance. That was like right on the money, like when it comes to persistence and the perseverance. Like that's the thing. That is the literal, that's the goal. It's like, how can we persevere? How can we help people persevere through the thing? Not skate around it, not go sidestep it, because we have to learn those lessons. We have to learn the thing. And if we don't learn the lesson, then we haven't passed the test, and we can't teach people. It's like we can only teach what we know from experience. And if we don't experience and if we don't have those moments to be able to literally like, hey, this is what happened in that moment. I know how to get through this. Come with me. Like, let's do this together. Like, I'm around people that have been through challenges and they're like, this is how we get through it. Okay, cool. Now I can get through this. And then I can take the next person through this challenge. And that's why we do this. It's why we have these calls. Like, it's not going to be in a happy-go-lucky every single week. Like, some weeks are going to be challenged. Some weeks are going to be amazing. Some weeks are going to be highs. Some weeks are going to be lows. But the fact that we get to do it together, that's the piece.
All the difference in the world. All the difference in the world.
Sweet.
Yeah, it is. It is. There was one thing that you said that I wanted to like go back to. It'll come out. It'll come as you go. It'll come as you go. But
Say it again.
okay, it'll come as you go. I had something that you said earlier that I wanted to touch on, but we got so deep into this, and I'm like, wow, you know how when something is just so good, and it's like, okay, you know. But I'm definitely grateful for this call because you're right, we get to do it together, and I think that's sometimes like the missing piece because when you're trying to do stuff by yourself, it's really somebody else's situation, somebody else's words, somebody else's something that gives you the breakthrough that you
Yeah.
need. Are you on your way to the airport?
We're on our way to Vancouver just because one of us has a flight later this evening. We got some more logistics to figure out because we've got bags from other people. We've got another person that needs to get to his mom, and yeah, when you get displaced and you get all over the place, you've got a lot of fun things to figure out. But we're just gonna go to Vancouver, enjoy the city, and see some sights. Like that's one of the things. Like we take the opportunity. Like I wouldn't have been able to go to Vancouver, and so might as well go see it, go sightsee, and make some content, shoot some things, and just get to see what's life's like in Vancouver. I'm like, I've never been to Canada, so it's there's
awesome.
a seed of opportunity in everything that we look at. And so I'm excited to go see Vancouver.
Yeah, that is exciting.
Y'all ever heard of the burnt toast, the burnt toast theory?
No.
Oh my God! Listen,
It's
so
not even us.
everything is burnt toast. All right, so like at my coworkers, at my coworker, like nobody wants to eat burnt toast. Like, but like,
Yeah.
listen to the theory is that so you wake up in the morning, you're late for work, you know, you're rushing, you're trying to get out of the house, you don't really have time to make anything to eat, so you pop some toast in the toaster, and then you end up leaving it in there too long, or you had the meter set too high and you end up burning the toast. So now you're late for work, right? But then you go and you drive to work and you see that there was like a car accident, like right where you would have been turning,
Yep.
and or something like that, and like you just missed it or whatever. And so that's the burnt toast theory, is that like sometimes things happen for a reason, right? So I think like there's probably some connections that you're making or that somebody's making, or it might not be specifically just for you. It might be for somebody that's there that needed to
Yep.
make a connection with somebody. Like it's like God stopping time almost, you know, to save you or save somebody. It's insane. I can't put that
That's
many permutations together to figure out exactly what it is, but it just burnt toast. So everything is burnt toast. It's fine with me. That's all right. I'll eat it on the way, you know.
that's amazing, Lance.
That's powerful. I love that. I never heard of that theory. Wow.
You can find it
That's
on
like
YouTube.
forever a thing now.
There's literally you can find like videos on it on YouTube. It's like literally a psychology teaching. Is like, you know, just the burnt toast theory and like how it's actually good for you, you know.
Yeah, but
100% using that as a teaching.
Mhm.
no, facts. That's a great one. And also too, like I love that what you said. Like everything is good for you, and it's like it's true. The fact that you didn't do something to the fact that you know you may whatever it is that you didn't do well, it's still good for you because how else can you learn and do better? How else can you get to the next level? Like and it's like even the things that we want to call bad days, or or like a dumb experience, or this shouldn't have happened moments, whatever those are, like those are good for you, because it's like how are you going to learn to you know not do whatever it is that you did and cause that problem in the first place. Like and it
Mm,
brings awareness. It brings awareness to like, oh, actually, you know what, if I did prepare the night before, maybe this and this didn't have to happen. Oh snap, maybe if I faced my risk management and I did take some time to just learn how to do it, maybe I wouldn't be doing so many times. Like, it's in everything. It's in everything that we do. So yeah, everything is good for you. And people need to accept that actually. Instead of just selecting what you want to be good for you. Like expect adversity. I tell people straight up, especially coming in this space, like entrepreneurship, being, self-employed, anyone, and being an effective and a worthy one as well, and expect adversity. Already prepare yourself to understand you will be in storms, coming out of a storm to go into a storm. That's it.
yep.
Mm.
And then through that entire time, gratitude, 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 community, 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 and just preparing for your next storm. But the next storm may not look like the last storm, but regardless, it's still a storm. It's still in
Right.
circumstances where you don't want to be. You're being stretched. you're being challenged, and you're being humbled. So that's really good. I love that. Everything's good for you.
Facts.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. It's really cool being around counterculture because it is such a counter cultural way to think about scenarios, because you can watch one set of people have the same problem and then you can be with a different set of people and they respond a totally different way. And the response, when you can train people to be responders, not reactors, I think that's one of the greatest skills. We can react to situations or we can respond to situations, and when we respond, our logic is better, our reason is better. Take that deep breath, make that decision, and actually think about the response, not the reaction. The majority of the world is just reacting. And then they get very, I'd say like they're making rash decisions and they're not thinking through the whole process. We can train up an entire generation of people to be responders. And you learn that by watching other people respond. I've caught, because we learn by watching. And so I watched really high level CEOs respond, not react. And it sets the tone for the people around them to where they're like, okay, let's respond. Let's not react about this. Let's respond. And it's just this trickle down effect. It's like now in my decision making, I respond to things, not react. And likewise, it's just this trickle down effect. You have to see somebody do it in the moment for you to be like, that's different than something that I've experienced of a reaction based.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Like
love that.
Yeah, it starts with what we said first, like understanding that the adversity, the pain, the pressure is necessary, and then making the conscious, thought about like what the storm could look like before it ever happens. Like, let's brainstorm for a minute. Let's think about like what could really go wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just like be la la la, nothing's gonna happen, all things are good, and then try to push the bad things out of our minds. We have to kind of anticipate these things happening because we understand that it's necessary. So if it's necessary, it's gonna happen. But what is it gonna look like when it happens? And more importantly, how am I gonna respond to it instead of just quitting, giving up, lashing out, complaining, calling people, poisoning the whole loaf with my negative energy, or you know what I'm saying? Just like maybe go to someone who, this is what I do, go to someone who I know have been through something similar and have a conversation, and just seek accountability. Big deal for me, man, because like if I'm by myself, sometimes if I'm by myself and I'm just like trying to process things on my own, it doesn't turn out really well. Sometimes I need like an additional brain to help, help me get through what I'm going through. Or like, what do you think about this? Like, does this sound like logical? And oftentimes people are like, yeah, I see where you're coming from, but no. Like this is
that's not it.
yeah, like this is the way you need to be looking at it, or this is something that I feel like can help you, or here's an example of when I went through it.
Right. That's why I love hearing stories from like Nano and from, you just go ask it. That's why being in person, you get to ask the real questions, like how they went through a certain situation or navigated a certain place. When you're in person, you can get the real, like, here's all the details. This is what happened, and how they navigated that. And it's like, you don't get that on a YouTube call. Like, you need to know people. You need to be in community with people to even be able to say, hey, how'd you navigate this situation?
Yeah, 100%. And it goes back to, like I've been saying this earlier. That I had posted on one of my social media, and I was saying that you get caught up in the hustle, you get caught up in doing so much that you don't, take the time to enjoy, be in the moment, and be around the people, be around the things. Like it does, because energy is never destroyed; it's only transferred. So you being in that space and you being around those people, that information, it could have been the very thing that you needed, but it's not gonna hit the same, sometimes over just a recording, or you know what I mean? It may or may not, but like I love that you said that, because that live, like that in person, like you feel the person's energy, the person's authenticity. It's different.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big deal.
Yes, it really is. It really is. Yeah, that's really good. I'm so grateful for you guys. It's a really, really good call.
Super grateful for you
Right.
guys.
Yeah, a lot of value.
Yeah, Lance, thanks for always adding some like major insight. Like, it's really cool to hear your perspective on things. Bless Man Ray, don't actually know who you are, but like excited to meet you. Definitely drop your Instagram in the chat. We'll give a follow. But yeah, these calls are important, and we can always pack them out. And really just give people that space on Saturdays, to have a chance to have a space to go.
That 100%. And we definitely need it. And again, too, and I love the fact that we just keep showing up. 90% of success is just showing up, Just showing up to receive what's for you, But I love that. I love it, and I appreciate you guys. I'm grateful for you all. Grace, is always a pleasure. I'm so happy to have someone like you. It's dope because you're challenging me every day. And it's really clear that I am with you. It's you, sis, and you're so strong. You know what I mean? And I'm so grateful for you, and I'm glad you're okay, because wildfires are something else. I've never, I've never been in this situation. Yeah, it really is, man. Because it's in a split second, and that's one thing too. Like, we have to consistently live every single day as if it's our lives. We forget to do that. We just have a guarantee. We just have this guarantee thought, like, I'm gonna get tomorrow to do it. Are you sure? You don't even know if you're gonna get the rest of the day to do it. You know what I mean? And some people be like, "Wow, you're being dramatic," and I'm like, "No, but it's life." You know what I mean? You think all those people woke up today thinking that they're gonna have to evacuate their homes, bro? No, you know what I mean? And it's like, okay, like let's take that one thought and just sprinkle urgency over everything that we do, as well as being present and intentional in the moment. But yeah, you guys, live today as if it's your last day. You are nature's greatest gift.
100%. And life's short. Like, seeing that, like it really puts it in perspective. Like, life's short. Material things don't matter. Like, everybody at the moment, it's like it changes. It's like, oh, life's way more important. Let's really take this and do the most that we can with the life that we have. Things can be rebuilt. Material things can be replaced, but your life is important and it matters. And what you do with that life, it matters. Who you speak to, who you speak into, what life you bring into other people. It really does matter, because that's the thing that they take away. If you died today, how many people have you left an impression of increase or some kind of wisdom that you've learned just in your life? Like, what life experience have you instilled in somebody else that they will have for the rest of your life? Like, that stuff matters way more than anything else.
That's powerful. I love that. How many impressions of increase did you leave into? What's, who you're speaking, into. Because believe it or not, whether we know it or not, somebody got their eyes on us. Somebody's being, encouraged or, influenced in some way. That's beautiful. I love that. That's awesome. All right, sis, I appreciate you. I'm about to hop into this training that I have. But I'm so grateful for you. Have fun in Vancouver.
Appreciate you guys.
You already know. Capture all the experiences, man.
For sure. For sure. We got some good content coming.
Yes, I
See you
love
guys.
it. All right, be great, you guys.
All right.
Love you guys lots.
Bye.
Love y'all too.
Bye, guys.